Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to episode 20 of Aurora for XC Sharp, Commonwealth of United Stars. If you're enjoying the series, leave a comment and subscribe, and maybe even become a member, and that is the best way to support the channel. Well, where are we? Well, the year has just turned over into the 2120s, and we had secured ourselves the system of Upper Silesia, so we'll head back over to there to have a look at the current situation. We secured the area and we set up a patrol path for our forces, and we've begun to salvage the wreckage here. Now, in today's episode, we're going to continue to expand outwards, hopefully go to Benetrix and some of these other colonies, and mine more resources because we have a mineral crunch incoming, and we need to be very, very careful about that. That is largely in part because we are producing a absolute metric motherload of military ships. So, let's continue to increment along, ladies and gentlemen. And the first 4 Ares-class vessels finished up. Oh, no. The first Ares-class vessels. In addition, now I'm going to order up another 4 of them to be built because they're relatively pretty cheap. And I want more of them. HMS Hector, Ares, Oracle, and Prince Adrian, but those 3 new Ares-class vessels can then be sent to, let me have a look at Dortmund. You have capacity 30,000, each is 15,000. So, like, I would be able to send 3 frigates to Dortmund, but I can't right now. Also, what's going on at San Martin that you can't support yourself properly in terms of maintenance? Ah, yes, that situation. They keep trying to overhaul at San Martin. It causes us some problems. Can I get... You got a lot of maintenance supplies on you, don't you? Yeah, you do. Also, our fuel situation is going to be really, really rough. We need to start producing or getting a lot more fuel refining. We only make 7.38 million litres now. How do I sort this out? I need maintenance facilities. Now, we have how many maintenance facilities? Capacity 372,000 tons. We need more maintenance facilities. So I am going to cancel ordnance factories and produce another 100 maintenance facilities immediately to be constructed. Then we need to ship those over. And then with the fuel situation, again, we need to keep building out our fuel. We are building up more Anubis-class vessels, but it's taking, obviously, some time. And again, we're harvesting, like, what's that, 15 million litres, 27 million litres. We're harvesting a good amount of fuel. It's just getting it to the places that we need to get it to. But yeah, let's continue onwards. Let's give system of Iota Pixtus. Iota Pixtus is pretty much empty, but it's a very interesting looking system at the very least. And again, also we're going to be waiting for a lot of new ships to be built up, but we're going to need more maintenance facilities to be able to fill it out. And yeah, again, that's a problem when our ships don't really work correctly because and this is something that Steve apparently not dealt with. If we go over to 61 Cygni, what's happening is these are overhauling, but then they're killing all the maintenance capability of that planet, and that's kind of causing us some problems. Like the Hotspurs and Reliance need to be moved. And they just keep adding on to it, like this, Hotspur Line. Leave overhaul. Like, stop using that. If you need to overhaul, go do it there. And you know what? I might just cancel their service early. Yeah. Go there. Begin your overhaul there. Leave. Stop screwing with that system. Thank you very much. And then we're just going to keep it going. That's it. You know, I think, like, in general, our situation's pretty damn good. Like, logistically speaking, it's just actually getting enough mines out there to effectively do what I want to do. Now, we can move these Belisarius-class vessels. We're going to move one of them to Lower Silesia and then Upper Silesia, because I have a job for it to be moving minerals around. And in that regard, we are going to be... Yeah, again, I think we're doing a pretty good job overall at the moment. It's just going to be a question of... Can we get enough ships to be able to beat back the enemy forces that we're going to be dealing with here? Now, Bellerophon just enters 61 Cygni. Did you enter signal signaling? Yes, you did. Now, what's the current salvage situation with you? You're doing fine. You're in signal signaling, then you're going to be entering that system. Yeah, go on, Bellerophon. You're going to Upper Silesia, because Upper Silesia had all those wrecks. And as you may know, wrecks cause raiders and stuff to get attracted to them, and that's why we want the Bellerophon over here. JSS Attack 3 just finished up order, so that should be... We've got a stabilized point all the way up to EV Lacerte. We're going to start a credit colony on this world. That's the mountain world with a bunch of different resources on it, and we want to be moving over colonists where possible. What I'd really love to do is be able to reopen Tau Ceti, but we can't currently do that, obviously, because of the enemy forces, the enemy swarm. And we'll have Ion Drive soon, so we'll be able to look at a new shipbuilding program, which would be very, very nice. And again, we're going to be finishing up a bunch of new vessels that will be able to deploy to the system and see how effective they will actually be able to be. Okay, our stockpile has somewhat gone up, though our usage is also going up as well here. I'm building a lot of mines right now to try and increase production amounts. Fuel so far is okay, but that could change real quickly. I'd like to have at least a stockpile like 100 million fuel. That is like a real bad problem for us. Another thing that I think someone mentioned is our naval headquarters situation is probably not correct, and that's probably causing bonuses to not be applied correctly across admin commands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop you, and I'm going to add 10% production to this, and we're going to start building some naval headquarters, which will extend our range, because I believe what's happening right now, if we go over to our naval organization and we look at our commands, we only have like the standard range, and that means that we're not actually hitting our admin commands across all systems, which means that we're not actually harvesting fuel properly. HMS Seeker, you know what, we're going to stop these ships. Too much fuel usage, not good enough capability in my opinion, and we're going to start to get rid of them. So that will be the HMS Survey Ship, Agamon. HMS Hotspur, Reliance, and Seeker. We're going to begin the scrap process. We're going to say goodbye to our old survey ships and look towards the future. Do we have the Bellerophon here? Yes, we do now have the Bellerophon here. That's going to be looking for salvage opportunities. And we just finished up another Anubis class vessel. That gives us 2 more Anubises. I'm going to order our tug to then begin moving those Anubis class vessels to Virgin Shipping Fleet. HH in Andromedae. Actually, you can just go to Harvester Group here, release tracted ships, then refuel from Griffin, and then repeat that order, and I'll move both of those over there to continue to help our efforts of harvesting the fuel, as much fuel as possible. Again, we're trying to get out of this financial situation. We are improving it somewhat. Our financials are improving, though it's, of course, taking some time to get to that point. But I'll be wanting to be thinking about the next generation of ships, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to be wanting from that generation. I think more endurance, definitely soft factors are going to be important, and we'll have to decide, right? But we're going to see what our current generation of ships can do, but we need to begin to design the next generation, which will be the Ion generation of ships. As well as missiles and all sorts of systems. Now, we just finished moving that over to our Centauri, so you should be mining 15.8 million liters. And as said, we need to make sure that we're actually harvesting as much as we need. You completed orders you were orbiting Griffin. So this is the extra mineral trust going 61 Cygni to Alpha Centauri. Yeah, you should be in 61 Cygni. No, you should be going here and then moving those minerals accordingly. And then we have the Belisarius, which is located here, which will be done in 10.8 days, which is it's nearly there. The Bellerophon is salvaging all of these ships, and there's also a big ship there. There's a 100,000-ton ship, which we destroyed. So we go over to the Bellerophon. It's currently got beam fire controls, a bunch of galisite, uranium, and other resources which we'll be needing. Okay, Belisarius finished, so literally your entire job, Belisarius, is you're going to go over here, you're going to load the minerals until full, transfer them over to here, and then refuel from Dortmund, cycle those orders. And then we're going to put you into this. We name you to Intersystem Mineral Transport 1, and we're going to name this to Upper Silesia. And the entire point is to move those resources back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and there is no other job that you have accordingly. And then we also have our electricity mineral transport, which will be taking those resources over as needed. We just finished up, did we finish up the 20,000 ton? No, we didn't finish up the 20,000 ton just yet. We also have the ODPs being built, but we'll have that done shortly, and that should reduce the amount of uranium we're actually using. And we are increasing our uranium stockpiles somewhat. If we actually look at the mining situation, the situation is not as dire as it previously was. We're mining most of our uranium here on the River Belize, and the River Belize currently has 72 mines on it. So it's not too bad for us at the moment. What the hell is that? Okay, 99 Leonis. That is precursors. Holy precursors. Irresistible, I think you're dead. Run as quickly as you can. Where is this system located? Excuse me? 99 Leonis. How did it take this long for you to find this? Where's the jump point in this system? Turn off the events quickly for me so I can actually see. That is a lot of ships. Oh my god, that's a lot of enemy ships. Evi Lacerte. So this is 99 Leonis. In 99 Leonis, we have a massive, absolute, just ridiculous, at least sized alien forces, which are the... Yep, there's the irresistible gone. Captain Low Broiler is dead. Okay, well I think that's going to be the action that will get the Senate to or the Parliament to stop all exploration of these ships now. They've done their job, but we're in new times. We're in the 2120s, and it's a bit too dangerous to be out there anymore. We're going to re-change our efforts for how we will be colonizing. And as part of that colonization, I think we'll probably be using survey vessels, not survey vessels. We'll be using survey carriers and proper like survey fleets, because that's a little bit too dangerous for my tastes. So 20,000 tons, that'll be done at 20,000 shortly at the very least. Researched ion drive technology. Fantastic. Now we're going to begin research, I think, into getting our fuel efficiency up. And then I'm going to take away some labs, and I'm going to improve with our construction and production guy. I'm going to finish you up, right? Finish that technology up. But what I want is I'm going to be wanting fuel production technology. And then we'll go for missile and kinetic weapons, potentially. No, let's not. Let's go for energy weapons. Let's go for a 25 centimeter laser, please. We also might need better turrets overall, but for now we're okay. How is the Bellerophon doing? But that's... Luckily, they're not going to come kill us. However, that is a very scary enemy fleet, that's for sure. Very scary enemy fleet. They have... That must be like 6 battleships. Something like that, or 6... They've got 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got 6 heavy, like cruiser-sized vessels, then like 4 destroyer frigate kind of size, and a bunch of small light attack crafts. That would be quite the engagement, and I'm not sure we'd be able to win that engagement with our current fleet, because we're probably going to need a lot of point defense capability. If we have a look at those ship classes, we probably observed a lot of missile technology, because they are the precursors, which means we are going to need point defense. Now, our destroyer escorts aren't too bad. The Firestorm, or not Firestorm, but yeah, the Firestorm has 6 times 12, and if we target that against a enemy missile that we can probably expect from them, we can assume that we will hit 17% chance. So let's say we have 6 times 24, so we have 48 shots times 0.7 times 0.3, we can destroy 2.5 missiles per destroyer escort, which tells me we need a lot more destroyer escorts. which we can't currently build, but that is the Firestorm class that we need to be building out here. Because we were building the Starfalls out, and now we need a bigger ship to go with. So what I think we're going to be looking at doing is looking at going for the next generation of destroyers. And so I'm going to copy this class. I'm going to rename this to DDX. And we're going to try and make a 12,000-ton destroyer. Now, we have our new engines, and that is going to be the main weight savings that we're going to be able to get here. So we're going to go for ion drives. And we're going to need... Now, how much power are we generating on the Firestorms? That's two 500 EP engines, so we need... what would that be? Two 600 or two 700 EP engines? Let's go for design tech, engine technology, ion drive. And then what's the size of the engines that we had previously? The size was 2,000 tons. So we'll go for 2,000 tons. That gets us an EP of 5. That gets us that engine, which has a much better fuel usage per hour. As you can see here, it's got an EP of 0.3 less EPH fuel consumption. 150 less fuel use per hour. But if we increase this to be 2.5 or 1.2, we get approximately the same kind of fuel consumption, but we're going to have a greater speed. Or actually, we can keep the same speed as we currently have, which I don't see a need to change because we're not fast enough anyway to be able to beat the swarm, and all the enemy ships we've seen so far are that we can beat are going at 5,000 kilometers per second. And so we're going to prototype that design, and we're going to put that into action for the DDX. So I'm going to go for engines, prototyped, and I want ion drives. We're going to do 2 ion drives. That gives us another 2,000 tons to play with in terms of ship. Now, in terms of weaknesses, we felt there were a few weaknesses with the overall design, right? So, number one, the active sensor suite I'd like to get overhauled. I would like to increase the deployment time. We can't really go for additional Ghost turret. Like we could put like, you know, we could put like 7 Ghost turrets on this thing. That would give us pretty good point defense capability, because if we look at the Firestorm, right, that's got 6. So we could essentially, what we could do is we could take the DDX, put on 6 quad Ghost cannon turrets, put that with a where is it? Would it be 12,000 kilometers per second? Or would it be 12,000 kilometers per second? We put it with that. That would then give us effectively a combination of both, right? So then we wouldn't need the destroyer escorts when we can just have destroyers that will be able to do both operations, relatively speaking, pretty well. We also have a 3-year maintenance life. We need to obviously improve that a little bit. I would like to improve the sensor suite, but I don't think we're going to be too useful on. And I'm going to change out the tasks here. I'm going to take away the magazine and the missile launcher. I'm going to delegate that task to what will be our survey / exploration kind of like light fleet. And instead, what we're going to have on here, well, we need a reactor first off. And so we're going to need a new reactor. Power 3. So we can go for a pretty small reactor on this guy. We'll type that design. And let's go for power plant. And again, I'm keeping the same speeds. Sure. That's like, it's not great, but if I was an extra 1,000 kilometers per second faster, would it make that ship any more effective? No. It would simply... It would help in interceptions, potentially, but it wouldn't really help in a lot of other areas, in my opinion. Now, in terms of beam fire control range, can we improve that at all? No, we can't. We don't have that capability just yet. So instead, I'm pretty happy with this kind of idea. So we're going to go for, now, I'm going to go for some additional fuel storage. We'll get about 30 billion kilometers. Now, that is going to use 1.2 billion kilometers a liters of fuel. Ideally speaking, I would like to reduce our overall fuel consumption quite significantly. However, the only way we're going to be able to do that is going to be able to improve our technology in that area, and we don't yet have that good of technology. So at least for now, the block the DDX class destroyer block 1, right, is going to use more fuel inefficient engines. And then we'll add blocks of new blocks to replace these aging destroyers. I want to completely obsolete out the Achilles and the Merlin. Those are going to be completely gotten rid of for these more soft-powered and important ships. And then we're going to improve the engineering to get about 2.1% IFR. Do I have any other command and control capabilities? I do. I'm going to put in the main engineering. So that will be a big boon. That will help with maintenance and reducing overall costs in that area. And is there anything else I would like to add? Can I add additional active sensor capability? I would like to potentially add in a larger or a Res 100 sensor. We go for 50 ton. We can also go for this, which would give us a 66 million kilometer Res 100 sensor capability, which is pretty nice. But that kind of affects our range a little bit too much. So I'm going to go for a 50 ton Res 100, but then there's not much point because I've got a Res 10 there anyway, so there's not much point having a Res 100. What we do need, though, is we're going to need a Res 1 because of the fact that we have ghost turrets now. Now, of course, this does kind of weaken us in some ways because we could obviously, if we had a dedicated normal destroyer, we could have a lot more ghost turrets. But I think there are significant benefits, right? Consider the fact that to get the same capability, we would have needed to have one Achilles, right, or one Starfall, and one Firestorm. We would need one Starfall, one Firestorm, and that would cost us a total of 2,500 BP. So this is effectively saving us 900 build points because we need to have one class, which can nearly afford us another destroyer. And if we can have 2 destroyers for every 1 destroyer instead, and to perform the same kind of capability, that is considerably going to improve our logistics chain and going to mean that we can spread out much better. And so I am going to I'm definitely going to go for this idea. A little bit more maintenance. Let's go for a small storage. About 3 years. And we could even, can we go for an extra layer of armor? We can't go for an extra layer of armor. We go for 40 months, 48 months. Let's go for, what is the halfway point there? 42 months. We can go for 42 months. And then I can get rid of one of the fuel storages. Oh, I'll add a little bit more fuel on. And then we can put in a little bit more maintenance supplies. What's that? There we go. So this would be DDX, and the point of DDX will get significantly longer performance time. We've got a good maintenance life. We're basically merging the Merlin and the Starfall into one. And that means that we have both great offensive and great defensive capability in terms of our point defense. Obviously, we've shown that our point defense capability is not the best against enemy missiles, and we're going to need to be improving that quite significantly. And this will also obviously increase the tonnage somewhat, but I think it's worth it. And speed-wise, yes, I'm on the slower side, but I'm okay with that. And so we're going to research those components. I'm going to go for it. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to obsolete the Achilles. Can I obsolete that class? I guess it always will show up. The Achilles and the Merlin are obsolete now. And we're going to research the necessary stuff we need for this, which is going to be the ion drive as well. Yep, there we go. We will be phasing the Achilles and the Merlin classes out that we currently have. We'll be sending those to the scrapyard over time. The Starfalls we will give block generation upgrades to keep them in service, to fill gaps. And then this generation of destroyers we will use accordingly. And because they have the fleet standard speed, they will match up with the Highlander class light cruiser, which still fulfills its exact role as needed, and will work. And then I want to be looking at a larger carrier, a fleet carrier potentially, to provide point defense capability. Because I feel like that's going to be very important, because we do have the railguns to be able to use that with. So That's definitely something to consider. So we're going to get those into research. I'm going to take away some laboratories. Let's take away from the engine weapons, and we'll go into power propulsion and start immediate research into both of these. And get our next generation of destroyers online. So this will be the last Starfall classes built. This will also be the last Highlander classes built. Not Highlander classes, but it'll be last overall. And we can see our current force numbers. So we have 6 frigates there. We have 3 Merlins and 11 Achilles-class vessels. So the HMS Achilles, Bellerophon, Edward Sagami, Havoc, Huante, King William, Magician, Osprey, Stalwart, Sulphur, and Valiant. And those will... So we have a total of 14 destroyers that need replacing. We currently have how many Starfall-class destroyers? We have 4 Starfalls and Alpha Centauri. And then where else? We should have a couple more Starfalls. Okay, 1 Starfall there, so 5 Starfalls. Okay, so we're going to have 5 Starfalls total now. Well, those will be 4 more. I'll get was 9. So we need to build another 5 Starfalls to replace the current fleet numbers. And then we need to begin to scrap the older ships and then bring them back over into the industry. God, this is going to require a lot of resources. But we're going to need it if we're going to be able to keep up with the enemy forces going forward here. And yeah. Extra military transport squadrons completed orders. And our wealth situation is also improving, which is fantastic news for us. You are doing well as well. You're getting a bunch of auxiliary firing trolls and better railgun technology. Let me have a look. So, orbiting San Martin, that's extra system mineral transport. Extra system mineral transport, 61 Alpha Centauri. You are to load on minerals until full on San Martin, send them to over to Alpha Centauri, and then unload on minerals and refuel, cycle those orders. Another thing that I want to do is look at replacing our freighters coming up here with more efficient freighters and going for engine power modifier, because we did get better one, but I want to get even more fuel efficient engine power modifier, and also we're going to be going for the more fuel efficient engines just overall anyway. And so that's going to be some effort I want to put in as well. All right. Enough for that. Let's continue on. And our wealth situation is improving, which is really nice to see. Bellerophon completed. We're going to send the new Bellerophon that we just built off towards salvage nearest wreck. We'll call it all. You're going to go to Upper Silesia. There we go. And again, we're just going to continue to salvage up more and more resources from these ships. Executive Officer of the Thunderstorm. You've been assigned. How is the situation with the Naval Headquarters? Not really happening because our construction efforts are not going too well here. You're salvaging you. Have you started salvaging the massive ship yet? Big ship. The big one. Not yet. Yeah, but you are filled up. So we're going to take you back to Alpha Centauri, unload all ship components, unload all minerals, then head back to Upper Silesia. And Dortmund hit 3 million people. Fantastic news. Great news for everyone involved. Bellatrix is also growing, and we have 3,000 tons of resources being made on Basilisk, which you like to see. And a lot of resources being made elsewhere, that we need to increase our mineral extraction rates as much as we possibly can, ideally. Now, there are any weaknesses in our defensive line. Okay, we have 2 destroyers here, right? Those should be able to handle most things. We have a light attack squadron as well. In 61 Cygni, we have 6 frigates, if I remember correctly, as well as a hangar defense base. Yeah, we have 6 frigates, hangar defense base. In HH, not in HH Andromeda, in EQ Pegasi, we have, if I remember, we have a destroyer there, and we also have an escort carrier here. Okay, and how is that escort carrier doing, by the way? Because it probably needs to be relieved. Escort carrier Apollo. 4.4 on that. Escort carrier Bellatrix, EQ Pegasi. Yeah, that's going to be a bit of a problem for us, isn't it? We need to get maintenance facilities moved over to here. Do I have any freighters available to do so? Nope. Do any freighters there? Nope. I don't have any freighters there either. Great. I wanted to be probably designing a next generation of frigates as well. I'm going to go for something that I'd like to do with every generation of frigates, or not every generation of frigates, but every generation of new ships, is I like to increase their tonnage by 50%, or 10%, 10 to 15%. So I'm going to go for on the Ares class, we're going to go for a 5,500 ton. So we're going to increase the size of the next generation of frigates by 500 tons. Just to increase their capability is needed here. The true site has arrived at San Martin. We need to send you over to go get replaced, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to go get replaced. Another thing that should hopefully happen now with me setting up San Martin to people can take fuel from is the fuel should, yes, increase on Griffin, which we've been kind of skirting the line on. We've got just enough to cover what we need, but also like not enough. You know what I mean? It's kind of up in the air. And we can also send the Vigilance as well to Alpha Centauri to refuel resupply, and we're going to then scrap it, which is obviously going to take a little bit of time to do so, but so far so good. Someone else suggested the idea of larger stations. Okay, 2 axolotls just finished up, and I think that'll be enough initially for our needs. So let's get the Hephaestus to pick them up and take them over to their new home. ODP. Okay, you're going to need to take 1 ODP at a time, apparently, because we don't have enough space. So you're going to take that over to Beta Antillier. Move that over to there. And I'll give you some new orders once you're done. True says complete those orbs in Griffin. Do we have a shipyard capable of breaking those down? Yes, we do. Angamon class, get rid of the true site. There we go. And let's continue to increment forward. Vigilance is done with its orders, so we can begin to break that ship down as well. So we will do so. So go for a scrap on the Agamemnon. That is all of them now being scrapped. That should inject some more uranium into it, and the usages are also going down. Iridium is still a concern. Where are we? Do we have any areas where we are mining iridium? We're mining some there. Also some there, but not a lot. Evie Lacerte, again, has a lot of potential iridium that we could use, but we can't really make use of it right now. Uh, 200 points for ceramic composite armor, because I think that's what we got from salvaging. Oh yeah, because we're salvaging these wrecks, right? Which is going to take some time. If we go to Upper Silesia, we can actually see the remaining wrecks. Oh, we did we salvage the big boy? Salvage the big ship? We must have. But we should be unloading those additional resources now. And the crews remain shore leave, because we should be unloading from here. Yeah, it's a little bit longer until we can actually do that, though. And then we should have new ships finishing up shortly. Take over the role of the older ships. There's the Hotspur, Reliant, and Seeker all scrapped, and their fuel now put back into use. As well as all that uranium, which we will be needing. And then we're continuing our production efforts across the board, and our financial situation has significantly improved at this point. Financial centers, 11,000. We're making quite a bit of wealth, so we want to get that wealth moved if possible. So civilian economy, they're currently moving automated mines over to Basilisk. We'll continue to let them do so because that is increasing our stockpile of resources quite significantly. 3 handliners class vessels were just constructed: the Etna, Mount Rushmore, and Yellow River. The command of the first light cruiser goes to Captain of the list, Andre Blasco, as captain of HMS Etna. And with those 3 ships done, we're going to put those into proper fleets. But I'm going to also shore up potential areas, I think, of need. So if we go over to, like, for example, Dortmund, that has a capacity there where we can send over a light cruiser for defensive purposes, and they'll be completely okay with it. So as its first assignment, we're going to send the light cruiser Etna on a mission. Proud light cruiser. However, we are missing something for our light cruisers, and that is going to be the fighters, the E1 fighters, which we have not yet built, that need to be assigned to the correct ships. So, let me just bring up. We're gonna put all these guys into the this Etna group, right? And then we'll just build into that group, and it should just work fine. So, Etna, you're going to build 3 fighters. Get those built as quickly as possible. That shouldn't take too long. But yeah, 3 Etnas are now done, and that has now brought our should bring our usage quite significantly down. We could order another 3 of them to be built as well. So let's assume that we're going to have 14 normal destroyers. I would say we want a fleet of 24 destroyers. And assuming for every destroyer we have a light cruiser, then we would want 6 light cruisers. So we're going to go for 6 light cruisers. Let me go shipyard fleet. Now, the main cost of this is in Gallicite, but we actually have quite a bit of Gallicite. Well, it's mainly Duranium and Iridium. So I'm going to order the construction of the Mount Everest, the Rockies, and the Yangtze to be constructed. Named after rivers and mountains. And those will be done on June 21-23, so quite a bit of time away. However, having those now done is really, really awesome, because they give us a lot more capability in terms of firepower at closer ranges. The light cruiser Etnas, for example, they have 4 20cm ultraviolet lasers, have a decent speed, and also have hangar capability. Their job is scouting, their job is reconnaissance and staying ahead of the fleet, screening the front of the fleet, and also providing some nice anti-destroyer fire with their remaining weapons. Now, we just had this guy begin his salvage run. He's starting to salvage quite a bit of Gallicite, and that Gallicite, that's going to pay for a cruiser, right? It's not a small thing. It's going to pay for another light cruiser to be constructed, and that's pretty nice. Our civilians are really picking up the pace here, and that's what I like to see. Really, 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 really good. Another Anubis constructed, and we're nearly down there. We also nearly have a new naval headquarters. That takes quite a bit of time. Wealth is now below there, and so our production efficiency modifier is actually going up quite significantly. And we should have a E1 done. So we're going to assign the E1. There we go. It's assigned up to the Etna, and we're going to just create we're going to detach the Etna. There we go, and it's got its little scout fighter, and we're going to send the Etna off to EQ Bagasse. Not EQ Bagasse. We're going to send you off to Upper Silesia. And you're going to arrive at Dortmund. That'll take you 18 days to arrive. And you are going to act as a projection up towards the north of the galaxy. So you'll be able to project power in this direction. In fact, we probably need to look at surveying this area, though we have scrapped all of our current survey ships. So we'll need to be looking at replacements. And then I'll probably send another light cruiser once we have the capability up to EV Lacerte to begin projecting power in this area and keep watch. Let's make sure that we do turn on the active sensors for the light cruiser Etna as it heads to its place to make sure everything's okay. I think we've gotten rid of all the wrecks here. Yes, I think we have. And the Etna has arrived. Let me just turn off active sensors so you guys can actually see. And let me turn it off for weapon range. HMS Edna has arrived and is in the area now, and is projecting its power. So we currently have a light cruiser and 2 destroyers in the system of Dortmund. We will not have what happened previously happen to us again, and we are protecting both the Silesian jump point here and also this area up here. And we have active sensors ensuring that anything that comes close, we know exactly what's happening. In fact, we have this light cruiser resolution 100 sensor, providing us a very nice radius around at this point. And I think that's another thing that I've been neglecting is sensor capabilities. But that's what I'm going to leave the episode off. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Really, really does help me out. In the next episode, we're going to continue to build up our naval forces, go into the 2120s, and yeah, just really exciting time. I just love Aurora, man. And if you guys enjoy the content, do remember to leave a comment or subscribe. It does help me out. Goodbye.